Before I became a professional trader, I lost money in ways that I'm genuinely embarrassed about. Not because I was unlucky, not because I was stupid, but because I kept doing a specific set of things that guaranteed I'd lose, and I had no idea I was actually doing them. I've been trading for 20 years, stocks, crypto, bull markets, full-on bear market crashes, and I've siphoned millions of dollars in trading profits out of the trading arena. And none of that came from actual talent. Bad trading is simply a result of bad trading habits, habits that we as humans just instinctively act on. So half of the time, it feels like it's almost out of our control because it's just in our human nature. And it's only when you identify exactly what those bad habits are that you can actually fix your trading. So in this video, I'm gonna go through 15 specific things that I stopped doing that changed everything for me. And even if 2 or just 3 of these sound familiar, cutting them out will change your results faster than any strategy that you're ever gonna buy. So number 1, I stopped betting the farm on echo chambers and public noise. In trading, there's wolves and there are sheep. Sheep, well, they gather in clusters, echo chambers, group think. The problem is, it's usually just a group of broke idiots. So the probability of the outcome being in your favor, well, it's extremely low. So my entry into the stock market was back in 2005, and it began with a stock tip from my aunt's naturopathic doctor about a biotech company that was highly risky called Cytomedics. And it just so happened to be right around the same time that my great uncle had just passed away and left my mom and her 3 siblings with a nice bag of $500,000 inheritance. And this, my friends, is exactly when the groupthink echo chamber of idiots began to start. Everyone got sucked in this fantasy of getting rich on the secret tip they had just received, everyone hyping each other up, talking about not selling because yes, they did just in fact invest the entire $500,000 into this random stock that we got a stock tip from, saying this is our one chance to finally change our lives and escape the system that we're all stuck in. The only problem? Well, we were all idiots. Not a fucking clue about anything or what the hell we were even doing. Turns out it was a pre-FDA approved biotech stock that failed to prove results in its phase trials. And guess what? It tanked 90% in one day. That life-changing inheritance money that we had just received was destroyed by an echo chamber of idiots in just a single day. So what's the solution? Well, you have to put in the work and only trade and invest when you have full conviction and confidence in your own decision-making process with a sound risk management plan for if the trade doesn't work out. Number 2, I stopped taking trades outside of my actual trading system. So first off, you need a trading system, strict rules, strict parameters, a basic checklist, if you will, that says I will only take this trade and setup if these exact requirements are met. And that's what increases your win rate and profitability. But here is the problem. Your trading system is gonna go cold every now and then. The market moves in cycles, setups come and go, there's downtime in between. And this is where things get really dangerous because discipline and patience either become your best friend or your worst enemy. Whenever my system went quiet, I'd get bored. I'd start placing random C-grade trades just to trade and fulfill my satisfaction and addiction. Or I'd start researching new strategies completely outside of my system in real time and testing with my own money because I felt like I had to be doing something. And this always led to unnecessary losses. It killed my win rate, it killed my profitability, and it usually had nothing to do with the market. It was just boredom creating FOMO. So the solution is simple. Stop spending so much time in the charts. Accept that no trade is often the best trade. When you see a setup, you will know it. You will actually feel it. And when you're second guessing a trade idea, it's almost always going to become a losing trade. Number 3 was I stopped falling in love with one trade idea and betting the farm on it. One of the biggest mistakes that absolutely wrecked me in my first 3 years of trading was trading with a small account and then doing what every small account trader wants to do. Swing for the fences for that one life-changing win. Because when your account is small, the natural tendency is to think, I just need one monster trade and then I'll finally have enough capital to actually make some real money. That fantasy destroys so many traders out there. And while yes, dynamic risk has its uses, there are times where you can systematically increase risk when the stars are aligned. The problem is new traders with zero experience have no idea when the stars are actually aligned. So let me give you 2 real-world examples between 2005 and 2008 when I was just getting started in trading. At the time, I was following a system that I developed called the Fous 4. My max risk per trade was 10% capital allocation. It was working great, slow and steady, account growing. Then this ticker diet came along in the stock market. It was all the rage at the time, publicly traded meal plan delivery service of the all-new health trend that began sweeping across America. So what did I do? I bet 50% of my portfolio after some steady progress the day before earnings were released. Well, they missed earnings. The stock dropped 50% in one day, and I death spiraled the account to zero, revenge trading shortly thereafter. And then a year later, after getting a summer job, I saved up more money, started over. Same thing. I traded the Fous 4. Slow and steady was winning the race. And then here comes fucking Games and Flicks. Ticker was GZFX. This was supposed to be the Netflix for video games. I thought this was my ticket to, again, get out of this small account era of mine. I bet my literal entire account on this piece of shit. Guess what happened next? It dropped 60% lower than where I bought it. After that, I sold for a loss and death spiraled that account to zero once again. 2 accounts have been blown up at this point. So what's the solution? No one gets rich in trading consistently by making big bets, because even if you win big just one time, you're gonna do it again. And sooner or later, one big bet gone wrong wipes you completely out. Doesn't matter how big your account size is. Slow and steady will always outperform in the long run. And if your real problem is lack of capital, another solution is getting access to a funded trading program, just like Hydra Funding, where you can get access upwards of $200,000 to trade with without having to risk your life savings. Yes, there's going to be a link below for a discount code to get started. Number 4, I stopped holding heavy longs when price was under the 50-day moving average after a parabolic run on Bitcoin. This one bitch slapped me a few times before it eventually saved my portfolio and a bunch of my students' portfolios. So it's quite simple. After a mega run, once BTC loses the 50-day moving average and starts living under it, people keep telling themselves it's just another dip. That mindset is gonna get you cleaned out. The rule is simple. Never hold heavy longs when price is under the 50-day moving average after a mega run on Bitcoin. The only exception is if you're buying into a real liquidation event on new lows being swept into a strong demand zone with an epically wide stop and position size that actually respects that risk. Number 5, I stopped never being satisfied with my wins. How many times were so many of you in massive profits on altcoins only to watch the whole thing fizzle out minus 90% because you got greedy? Your greed is your biggest enemy. This happened to me recently, just about a year ago, on a ticker called Super. I was up nearly $355,000 on that trade, my biggest open position on a single asset ever. And I still wasn't satisfied. Why? Because it had the potential to be a massive win. Sure, but that's not the point. That trade went from roughly $355,000 open profit to a minus $207,000 realized loss. That was just another reminder that profit is profit. If you are able to get into a real profit, you've already won. My rule now is simply always scale out of winners as those profits roll in. You should always be approaching the market with pessimism. Optimism is the echo chamber trap that prevents people from ever cashing in. If you never sell, the money is never yours. Number 6 bad habit. I stopped being a one-directional trader. In 2008, I lost my entire account again for the third and final time because I had zero strategy for what to do when the market started trending bear instead of bull. That forced me to learn how to trade both sides. Mind you, this was the biggest financial meltdown in recent history, but it taught me that thinking defensively and focusing on survival over profit is the only way to become a long-term winning trader. Pessimism is what taught me how to build portfolio exposure with bear market strategies as the market crashed. Because the most painful thing ever is having zero capital and zero confidence to take advantage of the next bull run once the bottom is finally in. So the rule is simple. Learn market cycle frameworks, learn how to short, learn both long and short strategies based on the phase of the cycle that you're actually in. If you only know how to make money when the market goes up, you will eventually get wiped out. Number 7, I stopped trading that little P&L on the screen instead of the actual chart structure. This one got me all the time, especially in day trading. Rather than just relaxing and looking at clear charting, supply and demand zones, targets, invalidations, you start staring at how much money you're actually up or down. That little thing in the side corner that tells you what you're doing. And that, my friends, really fucks with your head. If there were $0 on the line, you just traded the chart, your thought process would become very, very different. And that's why if you can actually hide your P&L during a live trade, I would highly recommend it. The rule is simple. Know your risk before your entry, know your targets before your entry, then trade the chart, not the money. Before we go any further, everything I'm talking about right now is the behavioral side of a structured trading system. And if you want the actual framework I use to map environments, build the plan, execute these trades, check out the Quantum Cipher mentorship in the link below. That's where I break down the weekly setups, the logic behind them, the alerts, and the full framework behind all of my decision making. Links in the description. All right, let's keep going. Number 8, I stopped bragging about my open profits before they were actually closed. The urge to share profits is a psychological tell of where the retail market is probably at. It means you have likely taken advantage of a very strong and extended move in the direction you were hoping it would go. And guess what? All good things come to an end. Extended markets and retail bragging, yes, including myself, is typically a telltale sign that I should start thinking about locking in gains. Almost every time I've had the urge to share a screenshot, move was probably a stretch. And if I didn't sell when I shared those things, I almost always regretted it, probably 95% of the time. So the rule is simple. If you're in a huge open profit and you feel the urge to brag about it, it's probably time to start taking profits. It doesn't have to be all your profits instantly, but you should absolutely start thinking about locking something in. Bad habit number 9. I stopped letting hot streaks turning into my biggest losing streaks. Now, this happened to me around the 2022 Bitcoin market top. I was riding high, profits were rolling in. I had near a $500,000 profit month before the BTC top was in, but Bitcoin was already super extended. Everyone was on cloud 9, including myself. So I kept pressing just one last time with some open positions, and I wiped out a quick $200,000 off my overall profits to close out the bull run. Instead of scaling back risk, my greed wanted more. Even though I knew danger was lurking, I still got sucked into the euphoria and gave back a nice chunk of healthy profits that I didn't need to give away. This is why so many traders have their biggest losses right after their biggest wins. The market condition that made you hot does not last forever. So the rule is simple. Know that all good things come to an end. When the market is extended, it's not time to keep pressing. It's time to scale the fuck back and lock in gains. Number 10, I stopped entering too early, too big out of FOMO. Now, this one has been a tough one for me to battle, even to this day, especially when trying to buy the dip or short a reversal. Price gets just near the zone you're watching, but it's not actually there yet. And because you don't want to miss it, you go in anyways with too much size. And of course, what happens? Price goes right to the exact spot you were originally hoping it would go anyway, but now you're too early and you went too big, and you get stopped out or liquidated right before it finally moves in the direction that you were actually wanting in the first place. That's not bad luck, that's just simply impatience. So the solution is simple. Always have a predefined order set. Always go for the lower zone on dip buys, always for the higher zone on shorts instead of front running what you think is going to happen. If you miss the trade, who fucking cares? If you hit the trade, you have a sniper entry with a high RR. Number 11, I had to learn how to lose and let go of perfectionism. Losing, yes, is hard on the mind to recover from. That's just reality. Early on, every losing trade felt personal. Like, if I was really good at this, then I shouldn't be losing at all. That mindset is poison because then one loss turns into anger. Anger turns into revenge trading. Revenge trading turns into account damage and eventually account loss. The truth is, you do not need to be a winning trader on every trade to make money. You just need to know how to lose correctly. Every blown account I ever had started with not accepting the first loss and trying to force perfection right after it. So the rule is this. Judge yourself by whether you followed the system, respected your risk, and kept the loss controlled, not by whether this one trade happened to be green or red. Bad habit number 12. I stopped making day trading my default strategy. Now, in the beginning of my career, I was solely a swing trader. This was the Fous system. Life was good, stress was low, I didn't have to be glued to the screen at all times. Then I shifted to day trading and built what was called the Fous X2 trading system because it seemed more exciting, edge of the seat, glued to the screen. Every day was an exciting new opportunity. And yeah, it was fun for a while, but this is where the burnout, stress, and depression really started to take hold of me. And by 2018, I was living in Asia, trying to trade the US time zone hours. It simply just did not work for me anymore. And then guess what I did? I quit trading altogether for 2 fucking years. And it wasn't until I got into crypto in 2019 and 2020 that I went back to the original Fous core trading system. And I rebuilt it for crypto and called it Krypton. And I've made millions trading crypto with this exact system, basically only trading 1 day per week. I do not need to be at the computer for the trade plan to work out because the more time I spend at the computer, the more I'm at the mercy of weak human emotion acting on impulse instead of logic. And that's why day trading is a grind that I do not recommend to most people. You are battling your emotions every single day, destroying your inner peace, and that bleeds deep into your personal life and also your relationships in a very negative way. Number 13, I stopped complaining about the market conditions while still trying to trade them. Now, people do this all the time. They say the market is shit right now. No edge, no follow through, unpredictable chop. Nothing fits their framework. And yet they keep trading it anyway. Why? If the market is not offering your framework any real edge, what the fuck are you participating for? Just to prove yourself that you can lose more money? Listen, cash is one of the best positions you can take. Sometimes that means I don't even trade for an entire month. Good, because preserving capital in bad conditions is also a trade. What's better, losing $30,000 in a month or doing absolutely nothing for a month and ending the month at break even? Number 14, I stopped trading in the gray zone. Most traders are chasing moves, FOMOing in late, buying demand after the move, selling supply after the move, and asking, is it still a good time to buy? Is it still a good time to short? That is the gray zone. Markets typically range between major supply and major demand zones, and price may only enter these real zones maybe 10% of the time, while 90% of the time, price is just hanging out in between. In that in-between time, the gray zone is where most traders donate all of their money because they feel like they always need to be involved. My rule now is to only trade in these finite windows of opportunity of supply and demand, and I pre-plan all of my trades to only execute when we enter those small windows. All I need is just those tiny little windows of opportunity where the market only spends about 10% of its time, and that is where I find real edge in my trades. And finally, bad habit number 15, I stopped setting profit goals for the week, month, or even the year. Profit goals are what kill you. Why is that? Because you do not get to determine how much money the market gives you this month. How much money you make in the market in any given month is dependent on two core principles. Number one, how many trade setups your trading system actually provided to you based on the current market conditions. And number two, how well you executed the setups that you have identified. Those are the only two things that determine how much money you're going to make in a given period of time. So if you set a goal to make $10,000 this month, but the market in your system really only offered you $1,000, then so be it. Who cares? Because sometimes the market might offer you a $100,000 month. This is not for you to decide ahead of time. Setting goals creates a conflict between what you want and what the market actually offers you. So those are the 15 things that I removed from my trading, and to be honest, cutting out even just 3 or 4 of these off your list will change your results faster than any indicator, strategy, or any tip you're gonna find. But if you wanna see what it looks like when all this actually comes together in a real trade with real money in real time, then watch the next video of how I went from a stressed out day trader to a 1 day per week trading method that follows a 9-step market cycle framework. It doesn't matter if we are in a bull or a bear market, the framework identifies which phase of the cycle we're in and has a given strategy for that specific phase of the market. Also, don't forget to like and sub. Anyways, see you guys next time.